Hi everyone, welcome to Unpack a Standard with Chris. This is Module 6, Unit 1, Activity 1. So we're going to unpack a standard for Grade 2. I'm using a book called Oxford Discover, which looks like this. This is the book we use in our class, Grade 2, at the school I work. We actually use this for all the primary level students, 1 through 6. So just each grade, Oxford 1, Oxford 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the standards I'll be looking at in today's video are from the Common Core curriculum or Common Core state standards. The 3 standards I'm looking at for this particular unit, which is Unit 8 from the book. We'll have this probably in the next 6 weeks or so. We'll get to this unit. So for this one, we have standards RL 2.5, RL 2.7, and RL 2.9. All these standards are dealing with reading for literature. So the standards, if we look at the content of the standards, for RL 2.5, we're looking at the structure of a story, specifically the beginning and the ending. RL 2.7, we're looking at the illustrations and words to identify character, setting, or plot. And then RL 2.9, we're looking at different versions of the same story. So that's the content. The skills involved are for RL 2.5, describing the structure of a story, so describing the beginning and specifically how it introduces the story, and then describing the ending and specifically how that concludes the story. RL 2.7, we're going to use use illustrations and words, which demonstrate understanding of characters, setting, or plot. And then RL 2.9, comparing and contrasting different versions of the same story. For the context, we're looking at specifically, I guess, the structure of a story. In this case, a fiction story. For RL 2.7, we are specifically looking in the context of print or digital text. In this case, it'll be print text for the unit we're looking at. And RL 2.9, we're looking at different versions of the same story by different authors or from different cultures. So the same story just written, maybe not the same story, but the same basic story, but that just come from different cultures or by different authors. For the 21st century and cross-curricular skills, this unit's actually pretty good for that in terms of critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and then the cross-curricular is math, subtraction. So this unit, it's Unit 8, but the book, they actually put 2 units together that have a kind of a unifying theme with them. So for this one, it will be Unit 7 and 8, and the theme is, when do we use subtraction? So the story, which is called Bandar, the Greedy Monkey, that has, well, in the story, you have a greedy monkey that basically goes around and steals things. For example, goes to the bakery and sees a load of freshly baked cookies, and it'll tell you, okay, there were X amount of cookies, and the monkey took this many cookies, and so this many cookies were left over, for example. So that's the math, the cross-curricular skills involved in this unit. Critical thinking, creativity, and collaboration I can get more into as we go into the example activities. Some example activities I might use in this particular unit. For the first one activity I have in mind is changing the setting of the story. So this is something that can be done to help build collaboration and definitely creativity in terms of the story. Collaboration, it could be a group project, for example. So a project I know I've used in the past that I think could work for this one, Grade 2. Could use a common story. For example, in this one, I have Little Red Riding Hood, and so what I've got is I've got a picture of Little Red Riding Hood, a cartoon character of her, and then I have like maybe 10 different settings. And so the idea is that for this story, most students already know this story, so you can kind of go over the story again, see who knows it, tell the story for students who don't know it. That's probably just like watching a video, Little Red Riding Hood. There's plenty of those on YouTube. And then going through and showing them different settings that I have. Again, I have pictures of these settings, just cartoon pictures. Placing my cartoon character, Little Red Riding Hood, into the settings, and then discussing how a different setting would potentially change the story. So going through some examples together, and then ideally having them in groups collaborating with some new settings they haven't seen before, and coming up with a story, the same story, but having it change based on the different setting. Another activity, since this is a bit of a cross-curriculum unit, would be write your own word problem. So for this one, students could first, with our story, Bandar the Greedy Monkey, find examples of word problems within the story, maybe even solving those, and then eventually moving on to creating our own word problems as an activity. And again, this could be done in groups, in pairs, or as individual work, depending on how I see fit during the lesson. Some assessment strategies, the final thing here. Some things I've come up with for this particular unit that fall in line with the standards covered earlier in the video. One thing I've got here is sequencing, so putting the story in order, first, next, then last. So basically identifying again the beginning and the ending of the story, but also the middle of the story as well. So this can be done with words for the more advanced students, the above level students. For students who are maybe at level, maybe it's a few pictures and maybe a few words as well. For the students who are below level, and maybe it's just a picture that just kind of represents the beginning or the ending of the story, maybe not so much in the middle, especially for the ELL students. So maybe that might be something that's better suited for them, just drawing a picture. Another way to kind of help with the sequencing and understanding beginning, middle, ending, or the setting and the characters could be picture cards where they actually put the story in order. And I think this would be pretty well suited for the below level students who may be struggling to understand the story, and again, specifically ELL students. So they might not know the story, but they can maybe look at pictures and through those pictures kind of piece together the story and come up with a way of showing how there is a beginning, middle, and ending. So those are some different assessment strategies for differentiation. And even for the at-level students, maybe there's no pictures, maybe it's just words, right? So just word strips for beginning, middle, and ending of the story for them. So those are that's the Unpack A Standard. I think I've covered all the points for this one. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in class.